The minute you file the LLC paperwork, the minute that you accept a payment from your first customer, the minute that you start going into relationships with contractors and vendors, you are the CEO of your business and you have a responsibility to know your numbers, to understand your finances, and to understand how to use that information to make business decisions. And we cannot outsource our responsibility to AI, to automations, to QuickBooks, and even to our bookkeeping team. Like, your money team is there to support you.
You're now listening to Design Curious, a place where you, creative one, are here to learn about what it really is like to be an interior designer. And I'm your host and mentor, Rebecca Ward. If you're worried about how to succeed in a creative career, if you're ready to learn your next steps to become an interior designer, and if you want the satisfaction of doing something you love every day, you are in the right place. Grab a coffee, a notebook, and let's dig into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to episode 182 of Design Curious Podcast. Today on the podcast, we have returning guest Danielle Hayden. She was back on episode 104 with some great financial insight. She is co-founder and CEO of Kickstart Accounting, Inc., a bookkeeping and accounting firm that is on a mission to coach six-figure and beyond female entrepreneurs so they can better understand their numbers through bookkeeping, financial analysis, and support so they can grow profitable, sustainable, and enjoyable businesses. I know you're going to love our conversation again today. You can't talk or learn too much about money when it comes to running your own business. It's always a good conversation. And so let's get into it with Danielle. Hi, Danielle. Welcome back to Design Curious Podcast. It's great to have you again.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's been almost 2 years, a year and a half since you were on the podcast. I know you have more great information to share. And one of the topics we're going to talk about today, which I think is very relevant for 2026, is the subject of AI. And we haven't touched at all on this podcast, AI with your financial processes. And so why don't you dig in there? Because I'm not even aware, I'm not using any AI, I don't think, in any of my financial parts yet in my business. So when would someone want to do that? And what are the things to be aware of?
Yeah. So the reason I started talking about this topic, I went to a business conference here in Cleveland a few months ago, and I listened to the facilitator talk about AI and how this group of business owners should be using ChatGPT to do financial analysis for the business owner. And Rebecca, when I say I was dying, cringing in my seat, I could not stand it anymore. I finally raised my hand and said, I'm sorry, but I cannot let this group of people walk out the doors today thinking that it is okay to upload their financials irresponsibly into their ChatGPT and think that Chat can give us a full financial analysis. So I recently recorded on my podcast, Business by the Books, some of the ways that AI and automation is actually hurting our ability to look at our financials as the CEO of the business. And I want to start with QuickBooks, if that's okay with you. And I can kind of talk about some of the issues I see there. So in QuickBooks, for anybody who is doing their own bookkeeping, one thing over the last several years is there's a lot of automation that's happening. And you'll see it's kind of some of the ads is we sync with QuickBooks. It's a beneficial feature. And I understand, right? We're like, oh, perfect. The systems are going to talk to each other. It's going to take care of itself. So excited for this automation that's going to occur. We have so many clients who come to us at Kickstart Accounting. When they come through our onboarding process, we do a 29-point review process where we check the books before we move forward. And what we're seeing over and over again is duplicated sales, uncaptured expenses, duplicated expenses, which is really scary because it's actually literally real dollars it's going to cost you in taxes when your financials, when you're double syncing something or you're syncing it and then applying the payments, when you're doing those strategies without understanding how to actually reconcile your financials. And here's the thing about QuickBooks. It does not say like with big red letters or exclamation points or like alerts or bombshells saying, hey, you did that wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that's not right. Like, hey, don't put that there. That's actually not how you do it. There's options in QuickBooks. And to be clear, I don't expect QuickBooks to do that because QuickBooks doesn't know, right? Like you need options in accounting. You have to apply your logic. And then as a business owner, if you then take your DIY bookkeeping done incorrectly, right? So QuickBooks didn't tell you, there's no big flashy alerts telling you your financials are wrong. And then you take those financial statements and you go type into your free version of ChatGPT. Hey, chat, analyze my financials for me. ChatGPT wants to please you. It wants to tell you what you want to hear. It is also not going to alert you that your balance sheet doesn't make sense, that you are an LLC, not an S Corp, that your sales are duplicated, that you've never reconciled your books. And so chat wanting to please you, it's going to give you a full financial analysis of your inaccurate numbers. And I want to be clear. I'm a daily user of AI. I love automations. I love systems and I love AI. So I'm not trying to scare us out of using it. There's a place for it in our businesses, but I think that we're rushing to use this automation and rushing to use AI, and it is irresponsibly in the place of humans who know how to say, hey, those sales are duplicated. Hey, the balance sheet, it's wrong. You're actually not an S Corp and those are in the wrong places. Or hey, those debt payments, they're not captured correctly. And then to do a full real analysis based on what's happening in the world today and proven frameworks that have been used for thousands of business owners. What are those financials telling you rather than chat wanting to please you using inaccurate numbers?
Yeah. Well, that's a really good point. I never would have considered, I guess, putting my financial into ChatGPT for an analysis.
Okay, good.
Knowing, I guess, also that chat is, hoping to please you and that's like private information that's could be, used publicly. But it's really interesting also to think about that it's such a technical and precise practice, like doing your bookkeeping. If one thing is off, and of course you know this, but like it could unravel everything. And then it's just too much error that could happen. And then you're stuck, you're up a creek, and it's just like, I would not trust AI with that, especially not yet. Like, maybe, I don't know, 10 years down the road, it might get like better processes, but still, I don't think we can replace the human part of that. So that is really good to be aware of because we definitely don't want people doing that and trusting AI to do all of their financial planning and reconciling.
And nothing can replace you as the CEO. So I think that's, a lot of growing business owners, they say, well, I don't see myself as the air quote CEO of this business, right? Like I just started, I'm an accidental entrepreneur and not ready to see themselves in that way. And that limiting belief, I think, keeps us from taking responsibility. The minute you file the LLC paperwork, the minute that you accept a payment from your first customer, the minute that you start going into relationships with contractors and vendors, you are the CEO of your business and you have a responsibility to know your numbers, to understand your finances, and to understand how to use that information to make business decisions. And we cannot outsource our responsibility to AI, to automations, to QuickBooks, and even to our bookkeeping team. Like your money team is there to support you. We call our services done with you. Like, yes, it's done for you, but we really need you to lean in and tune in because we want to do it with you alongside of you.
Yeah, it's so important that the CEO knows what's happening financially and like where to even focus their energy. Like it's data that they can use to understand how healthy their business is or when and where they need to grow. So touching on that point, when someone is starting out in their business and, hopefully they'll very quickly realize they're a CEO. A lot of people start out as a sole proprietor or just LLC. Do you want to touch on the point on when it's good to understand when you need to change maybe your classification there as a business?
Yeah. So I recommend becoming an LLC from day one. So if you're operating as a sole proprietor, it's early in the year, go file the paperwork to become an LLC. It's really cool what we get to the opportunity to do here in America. We get that legal protection of being an LLC. So go advocate for yourself, get the protection. Now, that is a legal protection. As an LLC, you can then go say to the IRS that you want to be taxed as an S Corp. And I don't want you to do it right away. It's a really important decision, but I'm going to give you a 3-step framework to know when it's time. So if your business is bringing in $75,000 a year of net income for more than 2 years, so not 1 year, we want 2 years. So if our business is bringing in $75,000 of net income, sales minus cost of goods sold, minus all your expenses, number at the bottom of the income statement, for 2 years in a row. I also want to make sure that you are completely separating your business and personal expenses. If you are commingling business and personal, you cannot become an S Corp. It's like, I'm going to go on a diet on Monday. I'll get my sugar intake together next week.
Yeah.
You're not going to separate your financials once you become an S Corp if you're not currently doing it. So make sure you have that practice in place. And then as an S Corp, you have to pay yourself a reasonable compensation. So the IRS, this isn't Danielle's rule. It's not Kickstarter Accounting's rule. The IRS says you have to pay yourself a reasonable compensation. So that's how much would you pay somebody to do the job if you weren't the one doing it.
Yeah.
And so once you become an S Corp, you have to pay that reasonable compensation. So the third thing is that I want you already regularly taking owner's draws from your business. If your business doesn't have cash to pay you today, it's not going to have the cash to pay you and payroll taxes next year. So it's a simple 3-step framework. Once you have $75,000 of profit, you're completely separating your business and personal expenses, and you're consistently taking owner's draws, it might be tax advantageous for you to become an S Corp. Once you're an S Corp, you're an employee of your business. It's a really cool step if you think about it. You lower the tax liability of your business. You are saving money on self-employment tax, which is freaking amazing. And then you also will be paying yourself a reasonable compensation, meaning that when you go to buy your new home and you go to buy a car or you go to bring on an investor or a loan in your business, you're going to show that you have the ability for your business to pay you regularly. It's going to make getting those types of loans much easier. So this is a full analysis that we do for all our clients at Kickstart Accounting. So when somebody becomes a client, we look at what is the best entity type for you and should you be on payroll or not, and then how to pay yourself that reasonable compensation. So your money team should be able to help you with this type of analysis and make this decision with you.
That will be really beneficial. Yeah, I love that you can be the expert to help people understand when and, to become an S Corp or not if they're not ready yet. So that's great. And when would you say is the best time for someone to hire on bookkeeping services? So like I always say that was my first hire. You should do it early, but is it like, should they do it with their first client or should it be their second or third, or like at what point can they not keep track of it or need to set up their accounts properly? Is it from the get-go?
Yeah. So I think that as a business owner, a new business owner, a lot of what we're doing is buying back our time. So you're doing everything in those early days. And as soon as you have regular income in your business. So if you're only getting one client here, one client there, and it's kind of a side hobby for you, then maybe that's not the right time to actually get a money team in place. But if you're bringing in consistent revenue and income, then we're at the point right there to bring on support. We are often our client's first hire because, like I said, you're buying your time back. You can't be keeping track of this. And honestly, you don't know how to do bookkeeping. So it's probably,
Yeah.
right? I can't do what you guys do. So I always say that with love, I need you and you need us.
Yeah. Expertise. Yeah.
As soon as you feel like you have regular income in your business, get the money team. Can I walk you through the 4 people I suggest everyone has on their money team?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So this is very different because most people will say, I need a tax accountant because I'm going to have to file my taxes at the end of the year. So it's like a normal first one. But you actually cannot file your taxes at the end of the year without person number 1. So person number 1 is your bookkeeper. And the bookkeeper keeps organized while you're out making money and spending money and doing your thing. Your bookkeeper, I'd like to consider it the big puzzle, right? So you throw this 1,000 puzzle pieces on the coffee table. Your bookkeeper comes in, they put all those puzzle pieces together. And so all you're looking at is a beautiful completed puzzle. And then your tax accountant can use the completed puzzle, the organized financials that are accurate to do your tax return. And since we see that in reverse order, a lot of times as business owners, we're trying to ask our tax accountant to be our business coach, our bookkeeper, a little bit of catch-all. So person number 1, bookkeeper. Person number 2, tax accountant. All they're doing for you is filing your tax return. Person number 3 is your financial advisor. And your financial advisor is the person who's putting together your business and personal finances. They're looking at how do we use your business to create wealth? Retirement accounts, IRAs, 529s, like what else do you need outside of your business? And then lastly is a CFO or business coach. When you're ready to start looking into the future of your business, for our clients, when we work with them under our CFO services, we walk them through a 5-step goal setting framework where we're looking to the future for the next 10 years and doing a complete SWOT analysis. So you might not be ready for all 4 people today, right? But start with person number 1, who's your bookkeeper, and then your tax accountant and build from there.
That's really good advice. Yeah. I do think people think of it as a reverse process because they'll be like, take all the receipts to their tax accountant. They need it. They need it all organized so they're not spending all their time reading through your receipts.
When I started the business 11 years ago, bookkeeping is not sexy, right? Like it's not the sexiest business. So I became a CPA and my background was as a chief financial officer. And so I had been helping these private equity firms, investors, CEOs make all these business decisions using their numbers. And when I started working with small business owners, I said, we need to bring access to that same information to the small business owner. Like, I don't care if you're doing $100,000 a year, you deserve the same access, the same information as a business owner who's doing $1 million a year. Like we all deserve access to that information. And so that is my mission in life, is to make sure that small business owners have access to their financials and know how to use them to make better business decisions and to be able to step into their confidence. So bookkeeping isn't sexy, but it is like the foundation of our home.
For sure. Yeah. Really important stuff. You can't bypass this important step if you want to be a successful business owner at all. So yeah. And interior designers are not naturally inclined to want to do their own bookkeeping. I think most of us want to do the creative stuff. So it's totally fine to hand it off to the expert. Now, explain again in your business, like, do you offer a la carte services? Is it like, I know you have that 29-point inspection for onboarding, but if someone maybe already had a bookkeeper, but they kind of need a little more help with vision or future casting and things like that.
Yeah. So a few options. I'm going to be a little confusing for a second. We do offer a one-time check your books service, and you can find all of this on kickstartaccountinginc.com. So if you are doing it on your own or you're working with another bookkeeper, but you're having an uneasy feeling about your financials, you can go to our website and select the check your books option, where we'll go in and we'll check what you have and just give you an honest assessment of what we're seeing. And we'll take you through that 29-point assessment. I believe in my heart that every business owner deserves to do what they love and to stay in their zone of genius. I love bookkeeping and I love numbers, and I still don't do Kickstart's bookkeeping. I believe every business owner should have bookkeeping off of their plate so that they can go and do the things that they love to do in their business. So our primary service is bookkeeping, where we work with our clients month over month. We have very long-term engagements with our clients. So we do that day-to-day bookkeeping for our clients, and we provide something very unique called the CEO dashboard. We call it the snapshot. And I have taken all of my experience as a CFO, plus my experience working with thousands of business owners over the last 11 years, to give business owners exactly what they need at the end of each month in their snapshot, with a podcast episode, videos, education on how to use it to make better business decisions. How often do you hear, air quote, know your numbers? And you're like, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
So we walk you through that. So we do bookkeeping for our clients, and providing that snapshot at the end of each month equips you to be able to make those business decisions. And then we do offer CFO services. So if you're working with another team or not, or you need a bookkeeper, our CFO services is where we can start to look towards the future and budget and plan for your future goals.
Awesome. Yeah. Sometimes that is a really nice benefit to have that CFO option too, because you might have everything else in place, but you're not really looking that far into the future. And you should be. Like, you need a roadmap of where you're going to go, right? So yeah, well, that's awesome. Are there any like books, or, I mean, we know we have your podcast, anything else that you'd recommend someone who's like kind of just getting in their feet wet as an entrepreneur to get a handle on understanding finances and like all the things that go into being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, my podcast, Business by the Books, my favorite business book of all time that I think had the biggest impact on who I am today and the business that I run today is Built to Sell. And I think every business owner in reading that can think about the type of business that they want to own and lead, and the type of business that they're going to build. So that's
I just bought that book, and I haven't started it yet. So that's
so excited for you to read it.
Yeah. Okay, great. So I know that's a good book. I was like, oh, this looks like a good book. Awesome. So yeah, I'm excited to read that book, Built to Sell, which, because I think also for interior designers, we don't often think about having our businesses as something that is sellable or, able to pass on to someone else, or anyone would be interested in buying either. So like almost no interior designers I know, they'll just retire their business. So I think it's important to explore the options of selling your business, but I'm sure it goes into so much more than that.
It's so much more. So it's about how you are going to build the business, how you're going to build the frameworks and the processes. And I do believe that there's so many business owners who walk away from their business because nobody shared with them those strategies 10 years earlier. So like if you built your business around the principles and Built to Sell, when you finally go to think about walking away from your business or selling your business, you might have something to sell because you have been thinking in that way the whole time in building your business. So
yeah, it takes intention from a long time ago. Like, it's like investing, or if you start early, it's not as hard. You have
there's just so many opportunities as business owners. And I just think entrepreneurship is the coolest thing that we can do. And we can be so intentional with the business that we're building.
I love it. Awesome. Well, is there anything else you want to share with our listeners today?
You can get support is the last thing I'll leave you guys with. I am somebody who 11 years in, I still have never had an executive assistant because I'm like, well, I can do that. Well, give me 2 seconds. But I use it as an example. Okay. Like we all have a different kryptonite that we're allowed to get support. So whether that be a bookkeeper, a tax accountant, a CFO, marketing, like whatever it might be, you do not have to do everything in your business by yourself. So go get yourself some support. It's going to make this journey so much more fun. I have a team of almost 40 people now, and I have so much more fun running this business today because I get to stay in my zone of genius. I get to be here and do things like this with you. And I'm able to do that because I have a full team of people behind me.
That's a really big team. Wow. That's impressive. Well, awesome, Danielle. Well, thank you. We're going to put all of your contact information. Where can people find you on Instagram? What's your handle again?
Danielle Hayden -OH is my personal brand, and then Kickstart Accounting and all the places.
Awesome. Great. Well, put those links in the show notes so people can find you. But thank you for coming on You're welcome to come back again and again. I'm sure this is a topic that is really one of our weakest links, I think, as interior designers. And so it's important to keep reminding ourselves of all the things that we need to do properly so that we can be enjoying our businesses like you are. So thank you for that inspiration.
Of course.
So I hope you enjoyed that conversation today. We have the links for Danielle and Kickstart Accounting down in the show notes. Check those out. While you're there, you should check out our new download for you. It is a recording of the webinar that we had last December as we were getting ready for boot camp. And it was well attended, and I realized that not many people were able to attend at that particular time and probably were still interested. So I thought I'd make it available to you, the recording from that webinar. And it was called From Passion to Profit, 5 Money Moves to Start Your Interior Design Business Right. So it is apropos to the topic that we had today with Danielle. And so if you would like to listen to that webinar that you may have missed, then you can download it from the link we have in the show notes. So go ahead and go there and get that replay of the webinar. I think you'll get a lot from that. And that's all I have for you this week. Next week, we'll have another great episode. And until then, stay creative. Thanks for listening. If you love this episode, please leave a rating and a review. This helps me reach other curious creatives like you. If you have a topic request or would like to contact me, simply head over to my website, rwarddesign.com. or email me at podcast@rwarddesign.com.